Shalom Israel, brother to Zainab, in the west coast, Ghana. Right, we just come to where they took the slaves off of the west coast, man. So this is a very solemn thing, man. No joke. I'm gonna go in there and have a look and see what they say about it. You know, there's the entrance, yeah. So a lot of bodies pass through here, man. A lot of our brothers and sisters, man, sold off of this coast.
Watch.
The white man took them off of this place here. So we're gonna go in there and have a look at it now, man. See you in there. Shalom. Shalom, back again. I'm entering. Many souls have been through here, man, with shackles and chains on them, you know. This is where they shackled us and they put us on the boats, man. You know. Alright. This is very old, man. This goes back to slavery, man. You know what I mean? This is where the slaves were, man. Got to sort out the formalities first then, you know. People then said I can't take no video, you know. They want 200 CDs for videos, man. That's off, bro. That's off. I'm gonna take some secret shit, man. Take some secret video, but you can't take no video. You mad?
Oh.
You mad crazy? You must be crazy, innit? Come all the way here for this history, you can't take nothing.
This afternoon, our discussion will be based on the transatlantic slave trade, and that I'll give you a very brief history about it, after which we visit the male slave dungeon. From the male slave dungeon, basically there are 3 castles in Ghana. Now we have elmine castle built by the Portuguese around 1482. We also have the Christiansville castle in Accra, built by the people of Denmark around the mid. What happened was that around 1492, in 1492, Europeans discovered the New World. They were led by a man called Christopher Columbus. During those days, agriculture was the backbone.
These motherfuckers want 200 Ghana CDs for this, man. So I have to do it discreet, you know. Because I'm not paying no money for this, man. This is our history, man. These devils, man, had us on these ships and that, man. Man, this is where they took us, man. Look, this is where the ships come from, man. You know what I mean? This is where the English and the Dutch fought for the blacks, man, to take them into slavery, man. You know what I mean? And that was that long journey, that long shitty journey they took, man. What was it, about 3 months, shitting and pissing and bleeding and giving birth? This cracker's got to pay, man. You know what I mean? This is the coast where they took them from, man.
Please walk in the middle.
Slave dungeons, eh?
Then past 5 chambers. This is the very first chamber. We'll soon go through the rest of the chambers. But then the 5 chambers were designed different. Indeed, each space was a complete apartment. They were fed over here. They defecated here. They slept here. They did everything here. At the time, there wasn't any electricity in the country. It's enough to kill. We generate electricity from our own fuses, but innocent souls lived in such an environment for such a long time.
This is where the man said they kept the slaves, man. 200,000 at a time. This is cold, bro. I'm glad I got this.
men were held. From the University of Ghana, Lagos, they came in to excavate the first chamber. They discovered that the chamber was made of faith excavated. The rest were not excavated. They were walking on the remains of the captives. That was the only source of light and ventilation. And then also as missionaries. The Portuguese were the first European nation to have come to the coast. They came around 1471. They brought there the first church, and that was Roman Catholic Church. And so Roman Catholic Church was established at the courtyard of the Elmine Castle. And the people of Denmark brought us Presbyterian Church. So prayer was established on top of the male slave dungeon at the Christian Broadcasting and Crown. The British brought us the first English church, Church of England, which changed name to Anglican Church. The Anglican Church was established right on top of this chamber. It started around 1752. Methodist Church started from, in other words, the captives were not allowed to go to church. Source of light and ventilation are there. A spy hole right in front of the church. This hole is right in front of the church. As the Christians went to church to worship the Almighty God, they saw the captives here sleeping in their own faces, dying in their nappies. After church services, they saw them here calling for help, but no help. But I'm not the right person to judge, so please let's proceed.
Slave dungeons, man. Coming out of the dungeons, man. Where they used to keep them. These W's, man. These crackers have got to pay, man. They've got to pay harsh, man. They've got to pay with their lives with this. You know?
Then his father was a slave merchant, a local slave dealer. And that as a result of the relationship that his father had with the Europeans, Philip was awarded a scholarship by the leader of the Anglican Church, Reverend Thomas Thompson, to study abroad to become a missionary. So Philip attended Oxford University. He was the first to visit a husband, Captain George Maclean. Piped one water in the country, so it was harvested rainwater, harvested from the roof. Today we connected pipe one water into it. And so we use this water for painting and other renovation work in the castle. However, whenever there's water shortage in town, some of the locals around come here to fetch water.
Yeah.
And inside here, you can use the pitches.
Somebody have 2 minutes to the gentleman here, the photographer, those who want to take instant photos, you have 2 minutes to take pictures after.
That's the ships that used to take them, put them on there and transport them to the ship what was on the horizon. Yeah, and take them to the Americas. I have to do it bit by bit because you're not allowed to film, so I've got to be discreet. That's where the blacks was, man. Slaved up. They were slaved up down there, man. And they said I can't take no pictures, man. Are you crazy? Straight up slaved us up, man. This is why the white man has to get punished, man. You know what I mean? Straight up slaved up the blacks, man. They got to get punished for that, man. Death is coming to them. Death and mourning. And mourning and sorrows. This is what's coming to them. Death, mourning and sorrows.
Alright, so this is part of the underground passage, part of the tunnel. So they walked from the last chamber where we saw the priest in chains and shackles. They walked in a total darkness without knowing where they were going. A soldier stood there to instruct them with a gun. Hey, move, move, move! Again, they were moving through, but none of them was aware of where they were going. You stand here, you look at it after we continue. Please, no insurance, so don't go far.
Zero hedges.
Is it dark in there, yeah? Alright, this is where the blacks used to be, man. It's out of order, man. Man's got to pay for this. According to the Bible, he that leadeth into captivity got to go into captivity, man.
Part of the underground passage. Another soldier stood here to instruct them as they moved. Hey, move, move, move. Again, they were moving though, but none of them was aware of where they were going.
Slaved up.
Oh yeah, this one isn't too high, Charlie.
This is not good at all. Not good at all, man. He that leadeth into captivity will go into captivity, man. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Thus saith the Bible.
Alright, so this is the end of the tunnel, the end of the underground passage. Here was the final exit point. So they moved out this way, they joined the boats, then onto the ships. Then the waves used to come here. Indeed, the waves of the sea used to disturb a lot. For that reason, officials stood this side. They created a new exit point down there. They were no longer moving through this direction. They moved out this way. The end of the tunnel was around 1833 when the trade was abolished in this castle. Right. Quickly, the end of the tunnel. The end of the tunnel. Here was the final exit point. When they moved out this way, they joined the boat and onto the ship. The waves used to come here. For that reason, officials stood this side. They created a new exit point down there. So they were no longer moving through this direction. They moved out this way. The end of the tunnel was sealed around 1833 when the trade was abolished in this castle. Now let's visit the punishment cell for the female captives. From there we proceed to the female slave dungeon. So giving some severe lashes. After giving them some lashes, they brought them here. They locked them up. Food and water was given to them through this small window. They created a hole here in order for them to defecate here, and then also to urinate here to serve as a deterrent to others. Punishment for the female captives. The children. The Europeans used the children to start pastoral schools. And so formal education in this country started from Elmine Castle and then here in Cape Coast Castle. Formal education in this country started around 1529. Those children were given European names such as Johnson, Smith, Ferguson, Johnson, Davidson, Richardson, among other instances. So these names are very common, especially along the coast of Ghana. This is an indication that we still have the descendants of those children in the country. Source of light and ventilation are there. Any questions? Okay. The properties that they had in Africa, they lost everything. They lost their family members. Today, we are in the same law of no return. However, you are assured that we shall return. So as the captive is a door of no return, officials used the circuit. So that side was the arrival and departure launch for the officials. Again, the ships could not come to this side of the shore because this side so they used smaller boats on this end and then transferred to the ship. And then they were packed by sardines, and that they died, they are not. Then those who died were thrown into the ocean where the fishes eat them up. They spent about a month to trade before getting to the new boat, depending on the direction of the wind, the weather, and then also the destination. In 1998, 18 years ago, Ghana celebrated the first Emancipation Day. Freedom.
This is where they took them from, man. In their boat. That creaking door, man. The door of no return. You see it there? Yeah. You gotta get that in, innit, huh? Yeah. The door of no return. Huh? Yeah, the whole thing, man. You don't return. Once you go past that door, that's it, mate. You're on that ship.
I stand here.
Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Do everything.
Right, man. This is where the blacks come out, man. They never saw this land again, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why the so-called caveman's got to pay, man. The Bible says that he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Revelations 13 and 9 to 10. Joel, the 3rd chapter said there is sell his people on auctioning blocks. And this is what happened, man. We didn't listen to the Lord and he done this to us, man. This is it, man. Finally got here to see this, man. Where they had us slaved up. The white people and that, the devils, Esau, used us, man, for commodity, man. you know, and they're gonna pay for it, man. Every last drop of their blood, they're gonna pay for it, whether our people don't want it or not. They're gonna have to pay, man. Had us all slaved up. God's chosen people, man. We're gonna kill them devils, man. We're gonna kill these devils.
Alright. Now it must be recognized that this edifice is 351 years old. But then this is the only original door left in this edifice. It's made of metal and wood. Metal here, wood here. It's a cell, but not any ordinary cell, but then a condemned cell. We are all entering, but please, watch your head, otherwise you carry the castle to wherever you came from. Watch your head.
Not good, boy. Tight. There's some tight shit here, man. Slaving us up. That shit is some tight shit, boy. Gosh.
Imagine what it was like those days.
I haven't seen that, man. It's dark in here, man. You can't see a damn thing.
Yes, condemned cell.
300 years.
Condemned cell. I guess
like this, then you can imagine what it was then.
some of the captives made an attempt of fighting for their freedom. Some equally made an attempt of escaping. And so those who made such an attempt were caught and were condemned over here. Here, no water, no source of ventilation, no food, no light. Through suffocation and starvation, they struggled and died. As they died, they were thrown into the ocean for the fishes to eat them up. The cell had 3 doors. 2 had been removed, only 1 left. And even with the 1 door left, let's feel the heat in here. And this is an evidence that the captives went through hell. They went through ordeal. They went through pains and difficulties. May their souls rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
Please wash your heads as we move out.
Can't see nothing in here, man. Can't see a damn thing in it, huh? Just imagine you rubbing up against me in there, getting vexed. I don't want you rubbing up on me. That's why blacks used to go crazy, man. They used to go mad. This is not good at all, man.
You didn't make me take other Europeans.
Alright, on to the next.
Palava Hall. Palava Hall. I guess palava is a Portuguese word which means to bargain or to negotiate. Right, so as the captives were brought from the hinterland to the castle, here was the first point of call. The doctors and nurses were here together with the merchant to examine the strength of the captives. The price of a captive was determined based on the strength. Again, they used second-hand clothing, mirror, gunpowder, schnapps, tobacco, amongst other European goods for the exchange of the captives. Now the bond, which paved way for the British to colonize this country for 113 good years, was signed over here. Important meetings were held here. So the history of Ghana and then also the history of the transatlantic slave trade cannot be complete without talking about this hall, because the hall played a major role in the history of Ghana as well as the transatlantic slave trade. Any questions, please?
Yeah, castle. I mean,
All right, and so, as mentioned previously, Anglican Church in the country started from here in this castle around 1752, but as they moved from the castle, that is the first Anglican church built in the country, the one just behind the castle. It was built around 1865. Yes, I equally pointed out that Methodist Church started from here in this castle around 1835, but as they moved from the castle, that is the first Methodist church built in the country, the one just behind the mosque. We have Roman Catholic Church at the extreme end with cross on top, and that because of the churches around, this part of Cape Coast is called Chapel Square. Chapel Square. But on the hill we have Fort William. Fort William on the hill. It was built around 1820. Soldiers were there 24/7 to protect the castle both inland and offshore. Where we have the shops was the soldiers' barracks. Soldiers were here 24/7 to protect the castle. Prisons in the country started from here after the abolition of the trade. Quickly, let's visit McLean's Hall. From there, we proceed to the governor's residence.
And on to the next.
Alright, McLean's Hall. I indicated that George McLean established the first court of justice in this country around 1843, 10 years after the abolition of the trade. So the court system in the country started from here in this hall. Originally designed, but then the materials have changed. These paintings are preserved. Here, butter, silver, and a few other things. Please, let's spend a minute with a professional after we continue.
My name is B. Chambo. I'm a painter. Painting this year, my 10th year. 10 years as a painter. Provide for professional one. Paintings for the wall right on there. I see them in cities. You can remove them from the wood for easy transportation. Paint will never crack. It will not start on it. It's acrylic or canvas. In case you don't have cities on you, take US dollars, pounds, euros, any of them is accepted. In case you don't want to go with the frame, you can remove them. Good. Share pattern here, and see this 100%. Name be a example for unique and quality paint. Get over and this place.
originally it was a quarters place. Mind you, in the late 1980s, this very African market. Governors call many years ago. Governors call. Indeed, one person lived here at a time. We are here this afternoon to examine the difference between this place and the dungeons. We've all been there, we all here. We see differences. And if you see the differences, what are some of them? Differences between this place and the dungeons. Right. Quickly, let's go to the bedroom. Let's move it out. Governor's bedroom, many years ago. Governor's bedroom. Again, one person lived here at a time. Look at the difference between this place and the dungeons. Think about it. Now let's move to the governor's reception area. That's the reception area.
Right, Dietrich. Is it Dietrich? Dietrich, yeah?
What about what?
Dietrich. Is that your name, Dietrich?
Teacher?
Dietrich. Is that your name, Dietrich? Yeah, he doesn't understand.
Right here, they used to take their snacks here. Look at the space, look at the number of windows here, compare with the situation down there. Right, now let's conclude at the first English church. Alright, so this was the first English church, Church of England, which changed name to Anglican Church. It's now children's library. Methodist church started from the courtyard. So church here, preaching here, hymns here, worship here, prayers here, swimming, crying, wailing, dying down there. They're all down there. We saw this hole when we were in the test chamber. We saw this 5 hole when we were in the test chamber. Somebody was always here to monitor the activities of the captives down there. Any questions, comments, observations, contributions, lessons? Hello? Are we together? Now, in 1992, barely 24 years ago, Ghana celebrated the first Panafest, that is Pan-African Historical Theatre Festival. During that celebration, chiefs in Ghana came in to apologize on behalf of some African leaders at the time Chiefs in Ghana acknowledged the fact that some African leaders at the time participated actively in the trade because they gave the land to the Europeans in the first place to build forts and castles. They served as middlemen. They brought their own people for European goods to enrich themselves. They offered the Europeans hospitality services. So we can't deny the fact that some African leaders participated actively in the trade. In this case, we can't blame one side. We have to blame both sides because it was demand and supply. But arguably, we can shift greater percentage of the blame to the Europeans. Now, chiefs in Ghana unveiled a plaque, and it reads that, in everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors, may those who died rest in perfect peace. They are telling us that may those who return find their roots, that may humanity, you and I, never again perpetrate such injustice against humanity. We, the living, vow to uphold this. But to conclude, my guests, let me emphasize that slavery is ongoing in so many forms, and that there are so many people in slavery today than in the past. In that we can still talk of child labor, we can talk of human trafficking, child prostitution, racism, how some people maltreat their maid servants, their workers, very terrible. Some work for a whole year without any salary. This is happening right here in Ghana. It's happening in Europe, in America, in Asia, and other parts of the world. You can talk of mental slavery or psychological slavery, political slavery, religious slavery, and so on and so forth. So what is the way forward? I have always said that as individuals, wherever we find ourselves, being Africans, being Europeans, being Americans, whoever, we should always see ourselves as one people created by the same creator. No matter what, so far as we are human beings, somebody will serve the other. But somebody serving you doesn't mean that you should treat the person as a slave. Let's respect one another. Treat each other with fairness and equality, justice. Let's do unto others whatever we expect others to do unto us. Whatever resources, whatever talent, whatever potential that God has given to each of us, let's value it and be self-reliant. Let us be transformed by the renewing of our minds, because until we change the way we think, some of us will forever be in change. Until we change the way we think, some of us will forever enslave others. And yes, let's educate ourselves. Having gone through the dungeons doesn't mean that we should begin to hate one another. Hating one another wouldn't solve the problem. But let's come together and fight against slavery in our society. Let's all join hands and campaign against slavery in our society, because together we stand, divided we fall. The impact of one, there can be a change. For that reason, as individuals, let us be the agents of change that we want to see within our immediate environment. On that note, I want to appreciate you for your time with me. My name has been Francis Kofi Esel. It's been beautiful taking you on a tour. Thank you exceedingly for your time with me. God bless you. Have a very good afternoon and a prosperous new year. You can now take as many pictures as you want. Indeed, you can be here till next morning.
All right. Boss, I'll ask you a couple of questions. You said that so-called blacks were selling blacks. So, yeah, according to history, it was the Hebrews what was sold off of this coast. Okay, so the indigenous people on this coast were Hamitic. But if you know, the Hebrews were Shemitic. So it was Hamitic people selling Shemitic. So it wasn't the same people selling the same people.
Some African
Right.
leaders, people from Cape Coast, sold
Right.
other countries, their brothers and sisters. I mentioned that Philip Parker's father was a local slave merchant.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we had blacks who sold blacks. What I'm saying is the indigenous people of this place was not originally from here. They fled from Jerusalem in 70 AD, and they dwelt among the Hamitic nations. If you go deeper, you'll find out that the so-called Hebrews were dark-skinned people, and they fled from Jerusalem to here, to the west coast, Niger, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, these to the west coast. And what it was, when the so-called Europeans come, they said the indigenous people, who are they dwelling on the west coast? They said they're the people that fled from Jerusalem. So they said, sell them to us and we'll give you musket guns and wine. Because if you know, the Europeans couldn't come into the interiors of Africa because there was too much mosquitoes and they wouldn't survive. So they sent the Hamitic people, the so-called Africans today. Even though Africa is named after a Roman general, Leo Scipius Africanus. So you can't really call yourself an African, really. Right? You're a Hebrew. That's who you are. Ibar means from the past. Okay? That's why you keep some of the customs of the Hebrews.
Anyway.
Yeah? Okay, I just wanted to get you know? Alright, no worries. Alright, people, shalom. Yes, Israel just got back from the tour of the slave quarters and shit, man, where they had us all blocked up, man. So it's good edification, man, to show actually where we got fucking cast into the dungeons, man. You know what I mean? But there is a recompense for it, man. There's going to be a payment for it, man. Okay? The Lord said it, man. He that leadeth, I've said it many a time, yeah? All they that devour thee shall be devoured. Yeah, they cast lots for my people, yeah? All this is going to have to be a repayment, man. There's going to be a recompense for it, man. A repayment. Anyway, on to the next, man. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. Going to another castle. I'm not sure if it's about slaves, but the brother said he's taking me there and might see some slavery. So, see you in a moment. Once again, the white man selling the white man as Jesus. This is not biblical, but our people can't get this out of their heads, man. The white Jesus, they can't get it out of their heads, man. Jesus ain't no white man. When you gonna learn, my people? He's a black man. They're no white man. Shalom. I don't know if this is another slave castle, I don't know, but it looks like some kind of place where blacks was, you know? You understand? For the slave trade, yeah. Like the brother said, man. And the white man's gonna have to pay for it, man.
Yeah.
When Jesus comes back, man, a black man, not a white man.
No white man.
Because this place is full of white Jesus, man. And they're worshipping the same man what put them in slavery, man. That don't make sense. You understand? They're waiting for a white man to come out the clouds and save them. And it ain't gonna happen, man. It's a black man was coming. So you people are gonna be shocked when you see a black man come.
Welcome back home. Nice trip.
Shalom, Israel. Be back in a moment. Right, we reached the entrance of another castle. It might be a slave castle. Let's have a look. Right, look at that. Blacks ain't gonna get over there, are they? Oh. Is this a slave castle? Is this a slave castle where they had slaves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, so the brother said it is a slave castle. Right. I don't know what that is, but I'll try and get a little close up. The brother rectified it is another slave castle. So from one slave castle to another. Alright, let's have a look, see what's inside. That looks like Dutch. Yeah, that looks like Dutch. So obviously the Dutch was involved with this. Yeah.
The watches.
How much you want for this one?
No, I'm going to see. It's not mentioning anything. I'm going to see.
You don't want to know.